Mounting scopes can be tricky. Let me show you some tools that I wish I had back when I was an FFL. Now on this rifle, I'm going to be mounting up this Vortex Strike Eagle. And as you can see, I already have my mount set. And here I've already adjusted this for my eye relief. Now for the eye relief to be correct is when I pull my rifle up to a natural position and that image in the scope fills up the entire image right here in the back lens. I used to always level my scopes based off of the turrets. But the one problem with leveling off the turrets is that just because your turret is at one plane doesn't mean the reticle is at the same plane. It could be skewed just a little bit. So it's better to level by the reticle and not by the turret. Now my friends over at Real Avid came up with the Level Right Pro. Now I have a kit here that has the Level Right Pro, the Smart Torque, so I get a torque wrench, and I also have the Viz-max, which allows me to make sure that I am on target at a certain distance. That way I know that when I go to the range, my first shots are going to be on paper. Now on this tower, you take this flashlight, which I love because it's rechargeable. And you just put this thing in, and then I'm going to mount this on my pick rail. And I'm going to bring this up so that it's level with the front of my scope. And then clamp it into place. Now if you don't have a pick rail, you have like your bolt gun, no problem. They got you covered too because they have a base for just standard rifles that don't have pick rails. Now I've already leveled my target back here, and now I need to level my rifle. So from here, my rifle's now leveled. I don't need to level front or back because that really is not going to matter with leveling my reticles. Now from here, I'm going to turn on the flashlight on the front, and then on my target, you're going to see the reticle. Now what I can do is pull the flashlight in and out because it's on a slider, so that way I can really get this focused correctly. Now I'm going to see here, you can see right there, it's pretty level. And you can also work on your zoom here, and usually what you do is you zoom this all the way in, and then right there I can see my reticles. You can see I can see my hash marks here, here, and here. Now what I'm going to do is turn off the studio lights here so you can see this a lot better. Then what I'm going to do is just level my reticles here. Now I got an equal amount between the lines here, and that's about center in there. Now I've put my rings onto the top of the scope. It's important to follow the guidelines given to you by the scope and your ring manufacturer to get this thing set correctly. The Vortex says I should be torquing these anywhere from 15 to 18 inch-pounds. So I grabbed my torque wrench out of this kit, and I have this thing set for 15. Now Vortex also says I don't need to have Loctite if I'm torquing these correctly. Now one of the big things here is we want to make sure that the gaps stay pretty much even, and that we always torque in an X pattern. Take my first screw, I'm going to screw that down. I'm going to take the opposite corner, and I'm going to do the same. Now I'm looking at my gaps here. This one's tighter than that one, so I'm going to bring that one down. Now I have my first screw tightened. I'm going to do the same thing here. And now I'm going to do the opposite screw. Now while I'm tightening this, I'm also looking at my chart here to make sure that I'm not altering my level. Now I can do the back rings. And from here, I'm still looking really good. Everything is still level. And I know that I have the reticle perfectly level. Now, when I was an FFL, I had a customer that had a condition that he couldn't stand up straight. He was always kind of hunched over. And everybody that mounted a scope for him always mounted him level like this. Now this is extreme, but what would happen to him is his rifle would be leaning to one side and his reticles were always off. So when he did his elevation, it was actually moving the impact of the bullet up and to the right. So when I used to mount scopes for him, I used to level right here off the turret. And I had a digital angle finder. And I would try to figure out where his zero was. Now it was great because then I could do it off the turret. But again, his reticles might not be perfect. From here, I could have just taken my digital angle finder, set here and here. And then the reticle would have been right on for him. So from here, we're just going to grab this right off the pick rail. Turn the flashlight off. And now I know my scope is ready to go for bore sighting because I want this to be on the paper first shot. And I'm going to use the Viz-max for that. Now this just has a magnet that goes right onto the muzzle of the barrel. But what makes this one different is it runs off of 2 AAA batteries rather than using a battery that's for some type of weapons mounted light. Now we shouldn't really be doing this with our muzzle device on, but I'm kind of lazy. I'm not going to take this off, especially since I just did a whole video of muzzle devices on this upper, and I'm kind of sick of doing muzzle devices. So I'm going to stick this right on the front, and then I will activate that laser. Now I can take this back cover, and what's great about this is that it becomes a chamber flag. Now I'm back from the range, and I'm not going to bore you with the entire process, so let me run through this really quickly. I take this sticker. Now this thing comes in the kit and I put it up on my target stand and then I can see the laser a lot better because it's reflective. And I get my scope dialed into where that laser is hitting on this target. Now what I didn't show you is I shot a group at 25 yards because this sticker says it's good for 25 yards. So I set this thing out to 25 yards, did my first shot group, then moved it out to 50. I like a 50-yard center. From there, I just dialed everything in. And everything looks pretty good. That's how you level scope reticles like a pro. Go check this kit out. Right there is a video about gun cleaning oils and really cold temperatures like we get here in Montana. Go click on that and watch that video. Thanks for watching. Hope you're staying safe out there. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.